So you have to take these off, and what we usually do is, I don't know how if your machine's close to the wall or not. You know, we have lots of space to go behind there.
Yeah, we can walk around ours.
So you have to send the pantograph all the way back to get the arms off. Just the presser foot, it has to be on needle number 1. So I just move it to needle number 1. Screwdrivers, but these are nice to be taking the plates off. Usually I would blow these out, but because Chris just did that, there's really not much in here, so I'm not going to worry about that. When we get done with hats, I'm sure it'll be all, because you use the tearaway backing on there, creates a lot of dust in there. So the plates, I'm sure you know there's the different plates that has a little knob on there. Like I said, on the forehead, you can just set up one head. You don't have to set up all the heads to do caps if you're just doing a couple things.
And this is an unstructured, but in the instructions there will be a left side. So that's why I put 2 pieces of full backing.
Cut with like the pad backing, and like for the 13 hoops. We buy that pre-cut. Otherwise, we do have rolls of backing that we use for bigger things.
So do you find the different fibers in the hats make it more or less difficult to, you know, get the hat stabilized in the frame?
We use, well, one thing, I know like these can, you can adjust. Or down here, like this.
Yes.
We just don't. So some hats will go on really pretty tight, and some will be looser. But this being, you know, unstructured, yeah, so it's, but I went all the way to the side. It's going to go on the left side, and the biggest thing is to make sure that I'm straight.
And you've got a good grip there, a good,
I always,
yeah, good bite.
well, I always line it up with the seam.
Right, but it's not as important if you're not doing this.
Right.
We have to adjust the presser foot. I don't know if it says that in the instructions or not.
And you just did that manually?
Yeah. Yeah, just...
Oh, I didn't know there was a lever there.
Yeah. And it's a lot easier to see when you're on needle 1 than if you're on needle 12. Cause okay. I think on the single head machine, the lever sort of almost has, like, works the opposite. Then we come over to here. This is the, I don't really know what they call this. The wheel.
Oh yeah.
It should normally be like at 100. So when we're going to adjust the presser foot, it needs to be at 200. So you roll it around past 200 and then back around to it. So it's kind of like you go past it and then... Can you see that? There we go. presser foot, you gotta loosen the screw right here. Just enough so that it moves around. Now, you guys probably have something like this there, but this is what we use. It's just a
Sort of a
this
full credit
was a
card.
card key, but yeah, like a credit card with. This is just has a little notch out of it. So you just stick that under there, and that's about, you know, like the width that you want between the knob on the throat plate and the presser foot. So gotta kind of get that. You want the needle kind of going.
Oh, I see
Through
what
the
you're
middle.
doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This can be tricky because trying to get it centered through the middle of the needle can be easier said than done. When you try to tighten this up, the press foot always kind of wants to come forward, so I always kind of like
Hold on to
push it back, and then, like I said, it's not really an exact science. So you just turn it.
Wow, this screen in the background is flipping out on this screen. It's just like,
Oh, over here.
yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. Just close that up. For caps is under settings. There's the trace.
Let me get this.
This Tom taught us like long after.
Oh,
the
I have
fact,
to turn
but-
this off. This is not going to do it. Okay, so settings, area, trace.
Yeah. Normally you'd have it on octagon, which means like, you know, on a flat item it kind of traces as close to the design, whatever, as possible. But here for caps, we like to use it rectangular.
Okay.
And basically what that does is it makes it easier for you to see how high up and low down you are on the cap, because that kind of traces in a rectangle. So I don't know what I had first. So when you put the cap on, it's easier to turn it to the side, you know, because of course you got to get the bill out of the way. And then once you're on the presser foot, there's these
Little roller tab things that
yeah,
you got to press
these
in.
little roller tabs.
And don't they bite your fingers? Or I
No,
had a
not
hard
really.
time getting it
Yeah.
in with the brother.
I mean,
the
once you
one
get
that-
familiar with it, you can just kind of tilt it up a little and push it on.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, when you're first doing it, it's kind of awkward, but you sort of get a feel for it after a while. So,
You have said a mouthful.
alright. So I sent the design over, and you can, if you look on the screen here, usually on a cap you want the bottom of the design to at least probably be at this line, if not all the way down. Just kind of depends, but so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
you want to put the presser foot down and find the center of the cap. Since we're only doing one cap, you can just do that with the little arrows here. And then talking about usually on a cap we want to go like about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. This is about an inch from the top, so I might move it up slightly. I mean, you want it somewhat centered, but if anything, usually it's actually slightly closer to the bottom than the top. What they do. So we should be good. And we trace like every design before we sew it. I don't know how you guys work, but I'm, you know, like if we're putting 4 shirts on, you know, and we've been running the same design all day, we still do a trace because you want to make sure that nothing's caught up or whatever. So I know my brother-in-law worked for us for a while.
Oh, success at last. It's nice to know what it's supposed to be doing. You know, what it looks like when it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Find it in the screen here. I rarely did any of my own painting.
Yeah, I've always liked that design. Nice bug. Yep.
And we'll come back and we trim out.
Oh, but yeah.
And especially before a cap, I saw Darcy do it. I do it too. Always check
to make sure there's not bobbing.
Oh yeah.
Because if you run out of bobbin in the middle of the cap, it's just that much more of a pain in the neck to pull it out and change it out. So when you put 2 hats on, or 4 hats or whatever, you want them to line up. Chris actually has these hoops so that they're pretty much the same, it looks to me like. I'm just going to move it over a little, and so they both came out perfect. But if they didn't, you could adjust, you know, like the hat, you know, if you have like 4 hats on, of course you try to get, you know, as many of them as close to possible. And then you can adjust them. So these center thumb screws, you loosen those up. And then this moves around.
Oh,
not a lot, but a little. So, you know, you can move it, get it to where you want it, and then tighten it. But you also, this is something that you have to make sure those center ones are nice and tight, because if it's not, then the cap will move around. This whole thing jogs around. I can show you what that looks like.
I suppose it rattles loose after a while.
It can, yeah. So we kind of like keep an eye on this because we know we have a problem with it. So if that's loose, this goes like this, and that's just enough to make, you know, the registration on the hat not come out right. So.